It is now my pleasure to turn today's program over to John Hinman, Director, Learning and Performance Improvement, Tooling, USME. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Hello, everyone, and thank you for taking time out today for this discussion on a silver bullet to combat the skills gap challenge. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is John Hinman. I'm the Director of Learning and Performance Improvement at Tooling USME. Special thanks to MSC for inviting me back for the third in a series of webinars we are conducting to assist you with workforce development challenges. Over the past couple decades, I have had the opportunity to develop hundreds of work development programs geared towards high performance while leveraging the latest techniques in adult learning. In addition to my project work, I have authored many publications, including work-based competency models for the Department of Labor apprenticeship occupations. Today, we're going to be talking about registered apprenticeship programs and how manufacturing can apply these programs to meet business goals and lead to retention and faster and consistent skills development. On the screen, you see the objectives we're going to cover today. First, we will discuss how registered apprenticeship provides a win-win scenario for both employers and employees by holding high-skilled positions to high standards and giving employees career development opportunities within one's company. Then, we will outline significant improvements in today's registered apprenticeship programs. And finally, we'll talk about the support system that is out there to assist you in standing up your own apprenticeship program and talk about an interesting apprenticeship success story that I have been personally involved in. We have a lot to cover today, so let's get started. For those new to the apprenticeship model, an apprenticeship is a system of training of a new generation of practitioners in a trade or profession through on-the-job training and some associated educational hours, which typically consists of classroom work and independent study. The practice of developing skilled workers originated as far back as the 1600s and have formed from the days of indentured servitude. Annually, there are nearly 500,000 registered apprentices in training within the U.S. industry. Apprentices learn under the guidance of experienced craft workers in such skilled occupations as computer operators, machinists, bricklayers, dental lab technicians, nurses, tool and die makers, electricians, drafters, electronic technicians, engineering technicians, maintenance mechanics, and many, many more. Employers, labor groups, government, educational institutions, and associations all work together to promote apprenticeship and develop sound standards for its practice. Today's apprenticeship programs act as an earn and learn model, where current employees typically spend normal work days learning their craft at the workplace and then take an educational curriculum during off-work hours. This allows for apprentices to take the knowledge that they are learning and applying it directly to the job through structured on-the-job learning experiences. As you learn and meet key milestones of the program, wage increases are in place that aligns with the skill development. It is important to note that apprenticeship programs are being adopted for large, medium, and small companies. So whether you need one apprentice or 100 apprentices, there is a program for you. Now, why is this important? We all know it's difficult to find skilled workers, especially in a manufacturing environment. We also know that if a business does not have a skilled workforce, they will struggle to meet key performance metrics and the business will fall behind in the market. Some folks use the phrase silver tsunami as they describe the ongoing retirements of long-tenured baby boomers. Now is a critical point in time where apprenticeship programs can build a pipeline of skilled workers to offset the losses looming during the baby boomer retirements. Some baby boomers are still on the floor and available to provide critical hands-on mentoring for apprentices, but they won't be here for long. Thousands of hours of on-the-job experience are part of an apprenticeship program, so these mentors are extremely important to passing down a company's organizational knowledge and tricks of the trade. In addition to the urgency to develop workers before our mentors leave the workplace, we also need to look at the desire for companies to retain workers once they have hired them into your company. The Work Institute published their 2018 retention report, which outlines truth and trends in turnover based on employee exit interviews. This report provides some eye-opening statistics. The report states that employers can prevent 3 out of 4 employees from leaving their company. How can you prevent this exodus? The report lists the top 10 reasons for voluntary resignation, and overwhelmingly, the lack of career development opportunities is the #1 reason. So if you look at all this data, companies can look at strategies in career development to retain workers you already have within your walls. Companies need to look at ways to grow employees, and apprenticeship programs can provide higher skill development pathways and long-term job security for your incumbent workers. In return, the company employs workers that are held to national standards of apprenticeship. The frameworks for apprenticeships provide occupational-specific curriculum guidelines and on-the-job performance standards that demonstrate job competency in your workforce. So let's look at what requirements encompass a modern-day apprenticeship program, as it is far from your father's apprenticeship program of the past. Registered apprenticeships include 2,000 hours of on-the-job learning per year in certain work processes, which are outlined by the apprenticeship standards, which are registered. Included in their daily hands-on learning, there is an additional 144 hours per year of educational hours or related training instruction, better known as RTI hours, that apprentices will need to take. Typically, apprenticeships can range from 2 to 4 years in length. However, depending on how you register your apprenticeship program, you may not need to have apprentices go through all of those required hours. There are 3 main types of apprenticeships. Time-based apprenticeships goes strictly by those hour definitions we just discussed for RTI and OJL hours. Competency-based programs allow apprentices to demonstrate required skills that can reduce their OJL hours. The hybrid programs require both a time-based requirement along with proven competencies. During your registration, you can decide which program will work best for your goals. There are additional benefits of a 21st century apprenticeship program that employers can take advantage of when launching their program. Online learning is now acceptable to cover some of the RTI hours, so apprentices will not have to travel to schools for all of their required hours. Also, some states allow for prior learning credit or assessments to show prior learning in order to reduce aligned RTI hours. For instance, if an engineering student just graduated with a bachelor's or associate's degree, that degree could equate to 300 RTI hours or some equivalent to an hour requirement. As an incentive for individuals to enter apprenticeship programs, some programs have actually tied college credit to completing select courses and/or RTI hours. These are just a few benefits on how apprenticeships have become more flexible and attractive to both employer and the apprentice. Partnerships can be a very valuable part of your apprenticeship program, as they can offer many benefits to employers. They can accelerate program development, increase the number of participants, or reduce costs through grants and leveraging of resources. Potential benefit areas in partnerships include the ability to leverage on-tap networks and affiliations of partners for economies of scale. Partnerships also allow for a broader access to funding opportunities, typically through academic institutions or company coalitions. Finally, partnerships provide insights into expertise and best practices witnessed by other partners. Although different types of partnerships and partners exist, there are typically three main partners that employers need to take into consideration. The first is academic institutions. These can be community colleges, high schools, vocational schools, and universities. The next partner option is the company coalition. This is typically a group of companies that have common workforce development needs and are looking to build similar pipelines for skilled trades. They could also be companies within the same region or town that have the need for a broader workforce development. The companies do not have to be the same size or even in the same industry. They simply need to have the same need for building a strong local or regional workforce. And finally, public entities and labor market intermediaries are another partnership option. Public entities are government institutions at the state, federal, and local level. Those labor market intermediaries typically are not-for-profit groups. These can include Chamber of Commerce, professional organizations, or company-sponsored foundations. Workforce development boards and manufacturing extension partnerships can also make for strong partners. As you connect with each potential partner, be sure to ask questions and listen to their comments and recommendations, as they will lead you to other contacts and ultimately help you establish your program's partnership model or build on an existing program. The case study that we're going to look at is a company called Pequot Tool and Manufacturing. Oftentimes, people think apprenticeship programs only support medium and large companies. But Pequot Tool is a small company with about 168 employees located in a rural area of Minnesota. They are in a location where it is hard to find good workers. They are a quality-driven precision machining and fabrication leader that provides fast and innovative solutions for diverse customer needs. They knew that they had to go an alternate route to achieve their goal of establishing a competency-based registered CNC operator apprenticeship program and fill its workforce pipeline with well-trained, good workers. With the assistance from the state of Minnesota, they were able to acquire their first grant. They chose NIMS credentials to bring credibility to its dual training process and the likelihood of additional federal grant funding. They partnered with Tooling USME to build their apprenticeship framework. In March 2017, Pequot Tools received approval of its registered apprenticeship standard from the Minnesota Department of Labor and Industry. As a result, they have had steady growth with 16 workers in the registered apprenticeship program and 25 workers in the dual training program in its first year. They were awarded more than $500,000 in grant support spanning from 2016 through 2020. Quality of their product has improved, and so has worker performance. Since the program is competency-driven, performance was actually achieved in 12 to 24 months, which might have taken 3 to 5 years through a non-structured program. Since the apprenticeship, they have experienced a 50% drop in employee turnover. They have added 3 new full-time machinists and are now adding a new apprenticeship standard for their quality inspector job role. The key to Pequot Tool's success was collaboration. Collaboration with community partners, education providers, industry resources, and funding streams. Here are a few more hints to keep in mind as you build out your apprenticeship program. When writing your standards, ensure the skills needed for your business are built into the framework. Make sure that there is alignment between education and the job activities that you hold your workers accountable for each and every day. Go the extra layer of program design depth to make sure your apprenticeship program ties to actual expected performance. Next, verify your mentors are skilled in delivering on-the-job training and have the ability to train others. This will go a long way in verifying the skills that are taught are consistently taught and through good practices and adult learning theory. Finally, make sure that you create a communication strategy for your apprenticeship program, both internally and externally. The outreach would not only demonstrate potential growth within your company, but it will allow you also to market to the local community that you have careers available for long-term employment. Your current employees will appreciate the career development opportunities, and you will attract more candidates for future openings. Today, we hope we have brought you up to speed on the attractiveness of apprenticeship programs and the new elements of the modern apprenticeship. But wait, there are more changes on the way. The government will be releasing some changes in apprenticeship programs, so please stay tuned for updates as they come out in the next 30 to 60 days. By better understanding and embracing the modern apprenticeship program, manufacturers can build high performers, provide exciting career opportunities, and boost productivity throughout the entire organization. With strong standards of work, apprenticeships can be an asset to companies looking for a competitive advantage in years to come. Don't forget to visit MSC's Better MRO site and toolingu.com for more information on workforce development challenges and solutions. Now we are going to open up the floor for question and answers that are being submitted through our panel. If for some reason we run out of time and we do not answer your question specifically, we are going to be taking all questions and answering those individually. So if we don't get to you today, we will be reaching out with answers to your questions as we move forward in the coming days. We do have the first question coming through right now. The question is, once we have our standards approved, can we later edit our work processes if we invest in new technologies at our company? So that question comes along the ways of, we've already registered a program with the Department of Labor. We have work processes already in place in what they call the Appendix A. If we do have new work process being brought in with some capital investment in equipment, can you change those? Well, there is a customization that you can do with registered standards. My understanding is that you have the ability to update your standards by 20% before you need to re-register those standards back with the Department of Labor. So in the case, if you register with a national program, you can always deviate from those standards up to that 20% as well. So you can bring in more of that localization that you need to make sure that you're tying towards your performance that you're looking for. Great question. Next question. We don't have a community college near us geographically. How can we meet the educational requirements? Okay, so the new flexible apprenticeship model does allow you to count on other educational elements other than sending an apprentice to a local community college, technical school, any kind of local education center. As we mentioned earlier, you can leverage online training as a very flexible option. Additionally, you can develop your own internal classroom training that can count towards related training instruction hours. Also, you can always contract visiting instructors to come to your facility and conduct training towards related training instruction topics. As long as that is written into your learning plans that align to the apprenticeship program, you should be in good shape. Accessing grant funding is always helpful in making these options financially feasible for your company as well. So definitely reach out to those partner organizations to look for that grant money like Pequot Tool was able to do to supplement some additional instruction that you might need to deliver internally as part of your related training instruction time. And then I think we have time for probably one more question. Are we limited to state DOL apprenticeship registration, or can we register through national standards that are available? There are national standards out there that you can join, which will alleviate a lot of the administration of the program. That does drive some people crazy. Off the top of my head, I know there are national standards for a maintenance technician and a CNC operator occupation. Also, there are national standards for an aerospace engineer that was grown out of the South Bay Workforce Investment Board in California. So there are national program standards that are out there that you can join as part of your partnership strategy. The caveat on that, some states will request that if you register with a national program, that you still need to register with the State Department of Labor as well. So just make sure you double check with your state DOL apprentice representative so you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted in the registration process. But again, I can't emphasize enough to join with those partnership organizations, talk to as many people. There are people out there to support you from initial design all the way through the funding channels as well. So reach out to your partner organizations for sure. So I think we're going to wrap up for today. I know Matthew is going to get us closed out for the day, but I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out and listening about the apprenticeship programs and how they can help your employees have career opportunities and bring high performers into your organization. Once again, make sure that you do visit the MSC Direct Better MRO website and toolingu.com for information on workforce development strategies. Thank you all very much, and I will turn it back over to Matthew.
Thank you again for joining us today. This concludes 21st Century Apprenticeship, Building Employee Pipelines, Engagement and Retention through Registered Apprenticeship Programs web conference. You may now disconnect.